guys, and welcome back to another episode of Z.M.S.C. Modelworks. And for the long-time viewers of this channel, you will know that when I had started building this Toyota Supra, I ran into kind of like a builder's block sort of thing. So there were a couple things that just weren't working out as well as I'd hoped. So ended up just stopping the project and coming back to it at a later time, and I was doing a couple other things in white where the touch-ups needed, so I brought it back. So this is using the Hobby Design detail set, or the Supra modification kits as it's called. So several parts that you can add to stock Supra kit, or kind of make your own sort of thing out of it, and that's what we're going to go over here. So I used just the kind of like the JDM wing and the JDM winglet up top. It does have a higher GT spoiler. Didn't like the way that it looked on the car, so I opted to not use it. There's also a kind of rear diffuser. I found that it was just a lot of modification that I needed to do to it that I didn't really want to do. For that simple fact, I just decided to leave it off, and maybe I'll use it on a different kit sometime. Box standard, everything else. The wheels that come with the kit are great, but the way they mounted to this kit, it's almost like they were designed for a wide body, because they sit almost 2 to 3 millimeters out of the normal width of the tires. So I ended up just using these 911 GT2 rims that fit nicely inside of the constraints of the body. Rears are a little wide, but it kind of gives it a little bit more of an aggressive look. Side skirts and the little carbon splitters here off of the front fenders, excellent, went on great. The only other thing was the front bumper here. Goes on great. Kit parts fit fantastic on it. The only issue is right in the fronts here, it has 3 spots for little rivets to go through. However, because they're so thin, those rivets would just get shown on the other side. So some severe modification would need to happen to just have those kind of click in. Perhaps maybe just cover it up and make it look like a standard kind of just front nose scoop sort of deal. Aftermarket lights fit great. I've got I don't know if you can really tell down here, but I've got the aftermarket radiator in there as well. So yeah, some other little details here and there that are some nice accents even to a stock Supra. So the badging, for the front Toyota emblem. There's also the emblems at the rear that are all photo etch. Fantastic little details that could really bring out any kind of stock Supra. The one big glaring thing about this kit is the hood. As you can see, it's not entirely flat and level. So it has shrunk quite a bit in the front. There's quite a noticeable gap, and it takes a little bit of force to kind of close it. So the hood has warped over time. Barring these two kind of little cutouts here I made for this turbo, the hood does not fit the stock engine, and they also expect you to put some little photo etch details on the openings here. So as you can see, I've kind of gone for a big boy turbo. There's some photo etch parts that go on the top of the manifold cover, and some other little details around here like the fan and some other parts in there as well. But barring those two outlets that I made for the turbo, there's a lot of modification that needed to take place. I needed to smooth down a lot of this, and I needed to almost tunnel out about 1.5 mils worth of material from the center here so that that engine could fit in properly. And that engine's actually been shaved down about 0.5 millimeter, so it sits a lot lower. When I initially thought, okay, maybe it's just the engine sitting high, if I had left the engine at the stock position and shaved inside of the hood here to make it fit, it probably would be going through the top. So in this case, I only had to go about halfway through the material to be able to get it to fit correctly. So kind of disappointed on that. The shape of the hood is fairly easy to replicate. I mean, anybody with a little bit of time on their hands could just take the stock hood and replicate those kinds of openings and then reuse the photo etch on that, which I don't think would be too much of an issue or problem. But I figured, well, let's go with the resin hood, see what happens. Yeah, no, I don't recommend using this hood, or maybe get a newer kit or one that's not as badly warped as mine was. But overall, great detail upset for stock Supras, or to add that little bit of extra flair to an existing kit that you might have. You know, I went with that kind of a white tiger type, you know, stencil on there, hand painted, airbrushed, of course, and then, you know, the little red details. I matched the cage, I matched parts of the seat, and then the engine cover as well. Yeah, and then custom exhaust on there. So all in all, probably give this, the entire kit, probably a 6.5 out of 10. It's not the photo etch, it's not some of the other minor resin detail parts, it's some of the big things. So like that rear diffuser, the hood, just nothing being correctly shaped. Obviously you could put some more time into it and get it to fit correctly. Some people, I haven't had really luck in memory shaping resin, meaning you put it into like boiling water and then it's supposed to warp back to its original molded position. I've never had any great success with that. So I went ahead and I just built it just to show you guys what it actually looks like completed. But other than the hood, other than the bumper, and other than the rear diffuser, I'd give everything else. So if it was an accessory set per se, like the winglets or the photo etch, you know, engine detail, that sort of stuff, probably give it a 9.5 and a 10, with a moderate to advanced level of difficulty, just given the size and given the parts and whatnot. That's what I would rate it at. So sorry this took so long, life got in the way, but you know, builder's block and everything else, it's done, and there's a review for you guys. Hopefully you can take this and consider it on your next purchase for that, and then I'd love to see what you guys end up doing it, what your sort of opinions on it are. So thanks again for watching, guys. This has been another, you know, final review for the Hobby Design Toyota Supra Modifications kit. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video.